What's going on YouTube? It's your host Rich GT, and we are here back on my favorite app, TikTok. Now, this young lady right here is talking about what it's like living in America, and she pretty much talks about her struggles and why she has those struggles. So we're gonna jump right in. We're not gonna waste no time.
This is a real life testament of how the government is affecting a 22-year-old person living in Texas in the year of 2025. I have my degree. I have my degree in food service. I specifically chose that degree because I knew that everybody needs food. There would always be a job in food service. I cannot find a job from my degree, because technically, getting into specifics, my degree is in baking and pastry, that pays more than $15 an hour. I have seen dishwasher positions offering to pay more. I have applied to nearly every food service related job in a 20-mile radius to my house. I had an interview with Chili's last week.
We're gonna stop it right there. Chili's, food ain't all that, but you know, the drinks hit heavy. Maybe where I was at, the drinks hit heavy. But first off, right? Look, why did you get a degree in food services? I understand your mindset. What everyone needs to eat is like, yeah, that doesn't mean I'm gonna get like a job as a fashion designer because everyone wears clothes. That's not how that really works. You know what I'm saying? And then not only that, you're talking about how you can't find a job that's gonna pay more than $15 an hour. You're 22 years old with a bachelor's degree in food services. What are you expecting them to pay you? Does it suck? Oh, most definitely it does suck. But what are you expecting? Are you expecting $20 an hour or something like that? Like, long gone are the days where because you have a degree, you get paid this much and everything like that. No, people don't care. So you having a degree in food services, which that job isn't one that you even need a degree for. I know people that like work in like in the cooking industry and everything like that. I know a private chef. That's a cert. You could get a certification for that. In other words, like do a few hours and then you're certified. You didn't need a degree for that. That was a waste of money. I feel sorry for some of you guys. And the reason I feel sorry is because a lot of you guys went to school either following passions and or for degrees that I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do with it. And I don't know if you expected upward mobility, but it's like, you know, did you not check the average salary statistics? Did you not go on Green Glass? You know what I'm saying? Did you not do that? Because you're saying like, I can't find a job for more than $15. It's like, yeah, no shit, because it's food service. It's not a lot.
Chili's, as a to-go expediter. We'll give you a call back if you get the job. Nothing. No call back. Degree. I went to college. I have been working food service for 6 years. And I was denied a job at fucking Chili's. Food. Or like living situation. Let's get into that. I currently make, because I work 1099s, I work 3 jobs right now. I do DoorDash, I do pet sitting, and I am a personal assistant. Currently, right now, I have just made the most money I have ever made. My entire life, actually. I was gonna say this year, but my entire life. I made over $3,000 this month. $3,000. The most I have ever made in a month. The most I have ever made in a year. The most I have made in my life. I don't qualify for SNAP benefit.
I'll get to that. I'll go in order. You're talking about how you have a degree and everything like that. Yes, you do. But the barrier to entry when it comes to getting degrees and having like going to college and everything like that, everyone's doing it. I was having a conversation with one of my cousins the other day, telling them like how everyone has a degree. It is not that special anymore. You having a degree doesn't mean anything because every other person has a degree. And not only that, you're in competition with other people who may have more years of experience than you do. There are 31-year-olds out here that are flipping patties. There are people that are your age, older, and even much older than that are vying for those same jobs. And if you look at it from a corporate perspective, right? They know that someone like you is going to want upward mobility over years, as opposed to someone that's 31 who's going to maybe humble themselves, not saying it's a bad job, but humble themselves to work a job that's $15 an hour because they need that job. Maybe cruel, maybe messed up, but that's just how it is. You're competing with many other people out there. So you not getting a call back, having a degree is not all that like hyped up it is. As it, almost everyone I know has a degree. I found it hilarious because she talked about $3,000 the most she made in her entire life. I'm not trying to be a dick when I say this, and I sound old saying it. Baby girl, you're 22 years old. What life have you really lived? You've worked, okay, food industry and everything like that for 6 years. Okay, cool. But you've been an adult for 4 years of your life. You're saying it like you're in your 40s, like this is the most of my money I made. That would mean something. You're 22. You have so much more runway to live. Like, trust me. Like, you're saying like, that's the most of my money I've made in my entire life. You've barely lived life. I'm not trying to be a dick, but you barely lived life. So no shit. The last part, man, I almost got my chair off of this shit. You fucking 22 years old. What do you need to be on food stamps for? Excuse my language. What do you need to be on food stamps for? My opinion is this: if you're 25 and below, unless you have a debilitating disease or whatnot, you don't need to be on no goddamn food stamps. She just talked about all the jobs that she did. Cool, you can do that. Other people can't do that. That's why they have food stamps. Yes, there are people out there that abuse it, but you're 22 years old. Why would you need to be on food stamps? This is why people have the opinion that they have of these government assistance programs and everything like that, because of people like you. They got these young kids, oh, I hate saying that. They have these young people trying to be on food stamps. So you got the young people, her age, maybe even a little bit younger, trying to get on food stamps. You got the people up here that need to be on food. What do we talk? 22 years old trying to be on food stamps already? Only people that need to be on food stamps, disabled veterans. Cause I see a lot of homeless ones out there. I don't know if they're disabled. Well, one of them I know has an eye patch. But even still, them, disabled people, like people that have like legit disabilities, and people above the age of 65. Personally, that's how I feel. Those are only two people that need it. 22 years old talking about you can't apply for food. Yeah, no shit. Like you barely ran life. And it's funny, you talking about the government doing this, the government doing that, but then you also asking the government to pay for your shit.
Because I currently live with my parents. So, okay, I was looking at getting an apartment. You need to make 2.5 times. You need to make 3 times your rent. I can't find a studio or 1-bedroom apartment that is in a decent-ish area, that has work opportunities, that is less than $800 a month.
This chick here, Bossity, man. I'm gonna be nice about this. You're in 2025. Okay? You're not gonna find no rent in a decent neighborhood next to, I'm guessing, a city with decent job opportunities for $800 a month. You're not gonna find that. You know where you need to go? I'm not trying to be rude. You need to go to Brevoort Projects up in New York. Marcy Projects. That's where you need to go. You get the rent. It's, you can make it. You can make the neighborhood what you want to make it. But yeah, $800. That's how much rent was down here in Georgia when I first moved here, like 10 years ago. Well, 10 plus years ago. Are you in La La Land? $800? And not only that, you live with your parents. Look, I understand a lot of y'all, a lot of us want to go out there and just make some of ourselves, be adults. But if you can't hack it, if you can't make it out there on your own, stay your ass at home. Stay at home, build your money up, stack your money up. You had the luxury of having your parents there. Some people ain't got parents. Some people don't have the ability to live with their parents and not have to worry about paying no bills. You trying to hustle out there to go pay bills? Why? Admittedly, you don't make money. So that doesn't make any sense. Stay at home with your parents. You're 22, you have so much more life to live. I sound so old. You have so much more to live. You don't know what might happen in the future. You're trying to hustle and bustle, go out there and pay rent when you don't need to be doing that. Just stay at home. Y'all stupid, bro.
Up that $1,200 a month. So instead, I'm moving in with my aunt for $800 a month. But guess what? I still don't qualify for SNAP benefits. Because the average income of the household is more than the requirement. But why should the household be responsible for my food? I don't want my aunt to have to pitch in to pay for my food. I currently pay for everything. I'm currently at my parents'.
Trying to be nice. Trying not to curse as much as well. You dummy. Why would you move out of your parents where, yeah, I guess you're probably not paying rent, to move with your aunt to pay $800. Why would you do that? That's dumb. Are you dumb? All right, you doing that, cool. And then you still looking to get food stamps because you don't want her to pay. Look, the people that are on food stamps don't have the luxury of saying, oh, I don't want someone to pay for my food. Oh my gosh, these people. The reason they have it set up like that, not saying she would take advantage of it, but there's people that would take advantage of it and say, oh, I'm a household of one, even though they live with maybe 2 other people, and they get food stamps, and now they're getting food stamps. Taken away from people that actually need the food stamps that can't do it on their own. Yes, there are ways set up to where it's like you could be like in a household of one, even though you're living with someone else, like roommate situation, everything like that. Like there's many different ways it could be handled. Because even if you're not a child, but if you're 22 and below, right? Well, she's 22, right? You still count as under someone's household. That's how it's set up in like, you know, like SNAP benefits and everything like that. Because I see someone in her comments talk some goofy shit about EBT considers your household to be whoever you are providing food for, not who you live with. That's not necessarily true. There's more to it than that. If you are only buying food for yourself, then you are the only person in your household. Also, like I said, to prevent people taking advantage of certain situations like that, it can be like that, but that's not the standard. And she's like, oh, you should, everybody I ask, look, how about you look shit up for your fucking self? How about that? But yeah, look, man, look, I know about this shit because I've seen it and I lived it. And when I say I lived it, I'm not saying I was on EBT and food stamps my entire life. That's not what I'm saying. An event happened when I was younger. No, I wasn't on it my entire life. Be that as it may. Let me let her finish this up.
I don't pay rent here, and I pay for everything. The only thing that I do not pay for, correction, is my car insurance. That is the only thing I do not pay for. Living in America as a young adult is near impossible.
I hate you people. This is that white privilege that people be talking about. Now I see why they don't fucking like y'all asses. I've seen other countries and everything like that, and I see how they live. To have you sitting up here not paying rent, fully air conditioned, I know you're not paying your medical insurance or anything like that, because I didn't know this growing up. Apparently people or kids stay on their parents' insurance till 25, 26 or anything. I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know. I was paying my insurance when I had to. What I'm saying is that it baffles me when you have these people up here with all the luxuries in the world talking about it's impossible to live. You're living with your parents rent free. Not everyone in the United States has that ability to do that. And then you're trying to jump to pay $800. Look, I don't even know what to say, man. I know I got people on here that watch that come from certain backgrounds and whatnot, and they probably hearing this shit and stewing, thinking, what are you talking about? And you talking about you don't pay, the only thing you don't pay. You're 22. What other bills do you have to pay? You're making it say that you have a whole lot to pay. When I was 22, well, I was in the military, so it was a little bit different. But you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? It's impossible to live in America as a young person. No, it's not. It's not. You're literally living right now, rent free. But then you're about to try to go pay rent. So it's not impossible.
Now, they've cut off SNAP benefits for those who were able to get them. What kind of dystopian fuckery are we living in?
Dystopian. Dystopian. This is why people don't like y'all white women, you know. This is exactly why they don't like y'all. Because y'all come up here saying this dumb shit. Living in houses, rent free, even though you trying to go pay rent. AC and everything like that. Nice phone to record your videos. Yeah, this is why they don't like y'all. Look, I ain't trying to dog on her too much, but she's saying dumb shit. You went and got a degree that anyone could have gotten. You don't need a degree for that, because she's defending herself in the comments saying, well, technically you don't need a degree for anything because you can learn all this stuff on YouTube. That is true, but there's certain stuff and criteria set up when it comes to having a degree and they're getting accredited hours that protects you, and they'll make it so that this is an industry standard, and because you have this degree or this certificate saying that you've done this, you meet the standard. So anything that happens, there's a reason for it and there's liability set in place. It's a whole thing that goes into it. That's why degrees and stuff and like that are set up. So for you to come up here and be like, oh, well, technically you don't need a degree for anything. Yeah, guess what? Those people that have degrees and things that are actually lucrative, they're working jobs, you're not. You got a degree in something that you didn't need a degree in. What you should do, stay at home, grind a little bit when it comes to your parents. Try to find another job market to break yourself into. That's the best thing for you to do. Does it suck? Yes, I do think people like you were hung out to dry and bamboozled, given a false dream when it comes to college and degrees. I truly feel like that. There's a lot of people out here that were just told, go to college, go to college, go to college. And then they did exactly what they were supposed to do. and now they out in their ass because they can't find a job. That sucks. It truly does. And the reason for that, in my personal opinion, is because the barrier to entry, like I said earlier, to get to college, there's almost none. Because you could borrow almost any amount of money and go to almost any college you want to. And you may not believe it, but college took advantage of y'all by having that be the case. Because at the end of the day, colleges are going to get paid, and in their mind is like, hey, look, you could come to our school. You just got to take out this amount of private loans, this amount of federal loans and everything like that, and you'll be good. They got people out here walking with $100,000 plus of student loans, and sadly, some of them have nothing to show for it. Why? Because the colleges took advantage of the fact that you can borrow money, exorbitant amount of money, and go to their school. And that's why they have all these different degrees and shit that honestly they shouldn't have that many degrees in. I might do a separate video talking about that because it's crazy, you know. And the BBB, the Big Beautiful Bill, it kind of combats stuff like that because it limits how much people could take out. It's a whole thing. I might do a video on it. I might. But yeah, this whole thing, man, look, it's crazy. Well, guys, that's it for this video. You already know the drill. Comment down below if you have anything to say. Let me know if you feel I'm off. Let me know. As I said before, you know, and you can agree with her. I truly don't care if you want to agree with her, because I'm not saying that it is easy to live as a young person in the United States. That's not what I am saying. But some people have a little bit more luxuries than others and still want to complain and make it like it's impossible when other people are literally living in dirt and squalor and don't have that ability to do so. All right, so comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. That's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.